thank you so much for joining us.
I love the dedication of being on, as uncomfortable as you are right now.
So, thank you again for having us. We are excited to feature your business and share your story. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and how you started your business?
Well, I was just mentioning that. So, I don't really come from the restaurant industry or hospitality industry.
Mm-hmm.
I've had some experience in it. When I was a kid, I used to bartend. I was younger, better looking back then. Anyway, that was fun. I learned a lot, and from that point, I had my own technology consulting firm for about 20 years. And post the pandemic happened, and during that time there was a lot of disruption. And when we got out of the pandemic, it made me realize that that we were in the same state that we were after the Spanish flu of 1918, and after that time, people were just tired of masks, quarantine, and lockdown. So this was around 2022. I thought, okay, what happened right after that? It was the roaring 20s. There was a lot of drugs, a lot of sex, but there was a lot of partying and a lot of going out and having a great time. So we thought, hey, it would be a really great time, a great possibility to come into this space and open an environment where people could really enjoy themselves and have a night out, a date night, a celebration night, whatever it is.
Yeah, you guys got a great atmosphere.
Thank you.
Yeah. Really feels like a lot of local community members like this area, from what I've heard. Yeah.
Well, I'm happy with that.
What are some of the biggest challenges you faced earlier on your journey here?
The biggest challenges were being inexperienced, but what I thought I had some confidence around understanding fundamentally what the business model was.
Yeah.
And then because I didn't really have a lot of funding, we were self-funded. We bootstrapped everything, and we currently have no debt, which is super cool.
That's incredible.
I sleep really well at night around that. I could have used funding around the time we were opening because I pretty much kamikaze this project, meaning a guy of my age, I only had a certain amount of money, and I had a previous business failure, which caused me to lose some capital. But as a result, I decided I really wasn't at a time of my life where I wanted to work for anyone. I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit, and that being said, I figured, why not do this project? So with that being said, taking all that money and then looking for more funding to get my liquor license, which was approximately $180,000, that part was tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of resilience there.
Yeah.
What does a typical day and work life look like for you?
Well, right now, since the business is kind of at a level of maturity, I broke up the business into like 5-6 phases, the way I'm looking at it. And we're now in a more final phase of the business where we're just optimizing the SOPs around the entire business in terms of making sure our benefits package and our retention, training program is set for the employees, things like that. So that's what we're really tweaking now. But previously it was really kind of getting off the ground, making sure our menus work, making sure our technology stack work, things like that.
Yeah.
So we're in a very fun phase now. It's just kind of like my typical day. I don't have to work as hard. I was for the first 2 years working almost 16 hours a day. I know that sounds crazy, but it was a labor of love.
Yeah.
So.
What kept you going during that time?
I think there's a certain discipline, but I think there's a general hunger that you have for success, especially if you're the person that everyone else is depending upon.
Yeah.
So the more hires we had, the more responsibility I felt. So
kind of like a father of all these staff members, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's kind of like you're at a peak right now, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think I'm not sure how much more growth we're going to see out of this, but year over year since 2023, we've been looking at anywhere between 60 and 70% growth. Even from last year, although we had a tremendous amount of traction last year in 2025, we're already still at 40% growth.
Incredible.
So yeah, it's been amazing.
That really is incredible. What can you tell someone about thinking of starting their own business?
I think having everybody understand your core values and committing to that, I think is really important. So whenever I go through the interview process or the onboarding process, I don't do the onboarding directly as much anymore. For management positions, I usually do. But what I always kind of like relate to the staff and the people that work with us is that there's only two principles of success, and that's trust and performance.
Trust and performance.
All the other good stuff rolls into it.
Yeah.
Showing up on time, being diligent, having self-care, having a work-life balance, all of those things roll into trust and performance.
It sounds like you want to be a boss that you want to work for.
Yeah, exactly. I try to commit to that every day because I like to sleep well at night.
What are you building towards right now?
I'm building towards an organization that's. I'm proud of what we built because we do have, through our commitment to our core principles, we have great team environment. I think a lot of the staff here, they do look at each other as family. They look out for each other. When somebody needs to move, they got they easily pick 6 guys out of the team that have been volunteer to be there, things like that. So I love that about our workplace. So we're not a corporate-owned franchise or environment, and that's one of the things I dislike about corporate is that there's less kind of personal human factor, and there's politics that are involved. We don't have any of those dysfunctions here.
No one to answer to.
Yeah, exactly.
Where do you see the business going in the next few years?
Not exactly sure. Well, the only thing that I want to do is create an optimized autonomous system right now that I can pull away from a little bit more because I really have a passion for building business. So I would like to build another business. I'm not exactly sure what that's going to look like.
I was going to ask that question. Yeah.
But it might be any number of things. So I have it might be consumer packaged goods because if you taste our food, one of the standouts that make most meals really good is the sauces. Yes. And we make some pretty amazing sauces. So I was thinking maybe we could potentially test the market. We'll see where that goes.
That'd be really awesome.
Yeah.
And what does success look like to you?
Success looks like where I know that I've been fair with everyone that works with us, that I can go to bed with a clear conscience. And to me, that's success. And to me, it's not the money. Money's good, don't get me wrong. When you're in this kind of business, you have very few ROIs that you can measure upon. So most things end up rolling into dollars, unfortunately. So that's the way I do kind of measure our performance in general. But in terms of overall success, I would say it has a lot more to do with the people that work here because they are extended. They're such a critical part of our success, right? And what I try to explain to everyone, even the food runners, it doesn't matter what positions you are. You're so essential to the entire orchestration of what happens here.
Yeah, it seems like you guys are one big family. Or was that some associates that came up and hugged you previously?
Yeah.
Those are associates?
Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. That's really awesome. All right. I think we're good.
Good? Yeah, we're good.
Beautiful. Thank you so
All right,
much. It's a
wonderful.
pleasure.
Thank you.